What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Delatorro. What's up? What's up? What's up, fam? I'm so pumped and excited. Welcome to Motivational Monday. Yes, today is Monday. Today is Juneteenth, and I am pumped and I'm excited about this wonderful opportunity to connect with you all on today. We're going to have a powerful, powerful time discussing chapter 1 of our brand new book, Shift into a Higher Gear, Better Your Best, and Live Life to the Fullest. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped, and we're going to have a great, great time. If you don't have the book, do me a favor, go to Amazon, Barnes& Noble, or go to wherever you can, wherever books are sold, and pick up a copy of this incredible book right now. Also, make sure that you also go on Audible, because you'll be able to get the book on Audible. We're going to do a whole global book study on this book over the next 12 weeks, and I'm incredibly excited about it. Every Monday, I want you to meet us right here. We're going to have an awesome, awesome time. So I'm really, really pumped. Let's jump in, shift into a higher gear, better your best, and live life to the fullest. We are in chapter 1, shift the small things to make a big difference. I want to talk about this subject today. I'm really, really passionate about this. Shift the small things in order to make a big difference. You know, every single chapter in this incredible book starts with the action verb shift. And the reason why that's so important, y'all, is because while this book has me on the cover on a motorcycle, this book really is not so much about motorcycle riding as it is about shifting. The book is really about shifting. And so I'm really, really excited about this concept. And I really want you to just type it in the comments. It's time for me to shift. Go ahead and type it in the comments. It's time for me to shift. If you know that now is your time, now is your moment, now is your season, and you know that in your life is some things that need to go to a different place, go ahead and just type it in the comments. It's time for me to shift. Go ahead and type that in the comments. It's time for me to shift. I want to make these sessions very, very interactive, because the more you participate and the more you interact during the session, the more powerful and profound the content will be. Again, you can get this book on Amazon. You can get it on Audible, etc., etc. Yes, it's me reading the book to you on Audible, so I'm really pumped and excited about that. But y'all, we're going to have a really, really fun time. Do me a favor, text 2 or 3 friends, grab the link to this video and text 2 or 3 friends and tell them Dr. Delatorro is live on YouTube on Motivational Monday on Juneteenth, and we're getting ready to have a good time. Do me a favor, text a couple of people, let them know that we are live on YouTube right now, and we're going to have a powerful interactive session together. And y'all, this content is coming to you absolutely, positively free. So I'm pumped, I'm stoked, I'm excited about it. I know you are too. We're going to have an incredible time. So listen, here's one of the things that I firmly believe, y'all. This book came out about 1.5 years ago, and it's really, really been blessing people's lives in ways that you couldn't even imagine. This book is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling book, and this book has gotten us on NBC's The Today Show 5 times, including the Today Show Australia. Come on, somebody. That's a big, big deal, and I'm pumped and excited about it. And I'm excited about the opportunity to help you shift your life into a higher gear. Now, I need you to understand something, y'all. If we're going to shift some things, I want you to understand what the definition of shift is. So I don't want you to do me a favor, write this down. Shift is, or the definition of shift is to move or cause to move from one place to another, especially over a small distance. I'm gonna say that again. The definition of shift is to move or cause to move from one place to another, especially over a small distance. Now, why is that important? That's important because we have to understand something powerful, y'all. At the end of the day, our brain, right, has an issue with change. If we make big changes super fast, our brain tends to not like it, because we are all given, write this down in the comments, what's called a primitive brain. Write that in the comments. Every one of us are given a primitive brain at birth. It's your job to turn your brain, whose number one job is to keep you safe, into a successful mind, whose number one job is to help you create wealth and create success and create fulfillment. I'm going to say that again. I need to run that back because that was powerful. Watch this. Every one of us at birth are given what's called a primitive brain. All right. The number one job of the brain, that big old organ in between your ears, is to keep you safe. The number one job of your brain is to keep your body alive. So your brain's number one job is to constantly see danger, threat, or risk and avoid it at all costs. Write that down in the comments. Your brain's job is to constantly sense danger, threat, or risk and avoid it at all costs. Why? Because your brain's trying to keep you safe, and safety equals staying alive. So every one of us are blessed with what's called a primitive brain. Now, here's the reason why this is so important, family. I need y'all to get as many people as you can on this broadcast because this is fire already. It's already fire. When we understand that our brain is designed to help us stay alive, we have to train our brain to create a successful mind. Right now, your mind are the things that you've learned, your experiences, the books you read, the seminars you attend, the events you go to, the networking, the connections you build. All that stuff is your mind, right? That's how you cultivate a successful mind. There's a difference between your brain and your mind. So I want you to create a mind of success. That's why everybody always talks about, no matter who you talk to about success, the number one thing that they say is that the number one key to success is your mindset. Notice they don't say your brain set. Woo! Where's my clapper? I'm already starting. I gotta find where my clapper is. I must have left it somewhere. You can see my book bag somewhere. I need my clapper. I can't go on without my clapper. Hold on one second, y'all, because I know my stuff is good, and I got to find my clapper. Lord Jesus, it's in here somewhere. Anyway, I'll find it. But that was good. Notice that they never say that you got to develop a good brain set. They always say you have to develop a strong mindset. So you have to train your mind. You have to cultivate your mind. You got to build your mind. That's why books are important. That's why seminars are important. That's why events are important. That's why positive podcasts are important. That's why positive YouTubes like this are important. We have to consistently put positive, good things in if we want positive, powerful, transformational things to come out. Does that make sense? So vitally important. So the purpose of chapter 1 is to help you understand that we got to shift the small things that make the absolute big difference. And here's one of the things that I learned and I love and I live by, which is so, so important. I want you to keep this in mind. Have you noticed that in life, that it is really the small things that really truly do make the big difference? For example, have you noticed that it's that big trucks roll on small tires? Have you noticed that big corporations merge with small amounts of people in a boardroom? Have you noticed that big doors swing on little hinges? Have you noticed that massive cruise ships change direction with small rudders underneath the water? Have you noticed that it is the 20% that we see of an iceberg? That's the tip of the iceberg. The 80% is underneath the waterline. You can't see it. It's the small things that make the big difference. Does that make sense? So it's the small things in your life that are going to make the big difference. So here's my question to you, my friend. What small shifts, what small pivots, what small adjustments do you know that you need to make in your life, in your business right now that will make a big difference, right? I want you to think about this. What's something small that could cause a big difference? Because once we learn how to shift, see what I like about shifting versus making massive change is when you make a small shift in something, when you make a small shift. So, for example, let's say you just go from one small shift is this. Let's say you go from sodas to coconut water, right? And let's say that you do that um, 2 days a week, just by going from sodas, carbonated sodas, to coconut water. That's a small shift. Coconut water still tastes sweet. It's still very refreshing, right? But if you went from carbonated sodas to coconut water just 2 days out of the week, that's a small shift that will make a big difference in your caloric intake. What if you went from energy drinks, right? Or like the energy shots or whatever, or like coffee to like teas, organic teas. Small shift that can make a big difference. What if you go from like white sugar to blue agave sweetener? A small shift that will make a big difference. Does that make sense? Come on, y'all. Follow. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if this is resonating. It's the small shifts that can make the big difference. Maybe instead of eating something later on in the evening, what if you still enjoy your favorite dessert or snack, but you eat it earlier in the day so your body has a chance to actually burn it off before you eat it at like 12 o'clock at night? Does that make sense? Small shifts that could make a big difference. I really want to talk about this because I think it's so important, y'all, that we understand it's not the massive changes, it's the small things. And in dating and relationships, women tend to notice it's the small things that a man does for her that makes the big difference. It's noticing the small things, it's those individual things, right? So the more we can learn to do this, I think we will learn to have an incredible, incredible life that's going to allow us to really grow and scale and expand to a whole different place. place. If you think about it like this in your money, what's a small shift that you can make in your money that's going to make a big difference? What if you just start taking 10% of your income and putting it into a different account and you don't spend it? You just take 10%. Every time you get paid, you put 10% in a different account that you can't see, right? All of a sudden that 10% is going to grow and it's going to swell. It's the small things that end up making the big difference. Are you feeling me? If you get a small pebble in your shoe while you're walking at a theme park, it's going to drive you insane. It doesn't have to be a big boulder, a small pebble. Have you ever gotten a small paper cut? Hurts like crazy. Or a tiny ant, right, could bite you in the right place and you're like, ah, right? It's the small things that make the big difference. So here's my question, my friend. What are some small things in your life, in your business, in your brand right now? What are some small tweaks that you can make? Because here's the problem. So often, y'all, we try to do the big changes. We try to say, okay, let me lose 100 pounds. Let me increase my profit share by 80%. We try to go after these massive, massive changes right away. And it's too much to our brain, and it's too much to our habits, and it's too much to our schedule. And because it becomes too much, we can't maintain what it is that we attain. So that's why in the book, one of the things I encourage you to do is make small shifts that will make a big difference. And one of the shifts that you can make is committing to getting 1% better each and every day in your life. 1% better each and every single day in your life. If you promise and commit to getting 1% better each and every day in your life, that 1% is attainable. That 1% is measurable. And according to statistics, if you commit to getting 1% more forgiving, 1% more dedicated, 1% more focused, 1% more in charge, 1% more clear, 1% more loving, 1% more excited, 1% more creative, 1% more innovative, 1% more romantic, right? 1% more spiritual, 1% more grounded. If you get 1% better every day, at the end of a year, you'll be 30% better in that thing. You'll be 30% better in that thing if you get 1% better every day. And those are the kinds of things that I really want us to be considerate of and focused on, because I think that's really where the magic happens. And that's where the awesomeness comes in our life. It's not the massive, massive changes. It's the small shifts that will make the big difference. It's kind of like the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, where it's the small things that make the big difference. For example, right? We've all heard it before that 20% of your effort produces 80% of your results. I'm going to say that again. 20% of your efforts is producing 80% of your results. Y'all, it's the small things that are making the big difference. 20% of the people that go to a church attribute to 80% of the money that's actually being raised in the church. 20% of the donors of a nonprofit give 80% of the contributions. 20% of the people on a team do 80% of the work. Y'all, so the Pareto principle basically helps us understand that it's really 20% that's doing the large majority. So how does that apply to life and business? Think about it. 20% of the clothes in your closet attribute 80% of your actual wardrobe. I'm going to say that again. Did you know that it's 20% of the stuff in your closet that actually attributes 80% of your wardrobe that you wear on a regular basis? Because we're creatures of habit, you tend to reach for the same shirts, the same bottoms, the same jeans, the same shoes, the same underwear, the same bras, right? You tend to reach for the same. So how many of you noticed that you use 20% of the stuff in your medicine cabinet 80% of the time? There's a whole bunch of stuff in your medicine cabinet that you never even use, right? Am I right about it? Come on, somebody, right? That's why we have to constantly go grocery shopping, because we tend to reach for the same stuff in our refrigerator. So here's the question. What is that magic 20%? What is that magic 20% in your life and in your business? What's that magic 20% in your money and your finances right now? And how can you learn how to do that magic 20% 80% of the time? I think we have to really get crystal clear about how we can leverage the small things that's really going to make the big difference. I'm in chapter 1 of shifting to a higher gear. Come on, somebody. Shift the small things that make the big difference, right? What small financial shifts can you make right now? What small emotional shifts can you make now? Let's talk about emotion. Is it possible, my friend, that you and I could make a small emotional shift that could make a big difference in our lives and our careers? And what I mean by that is this. Let's say that there's somebody that gets on your, anybody watching this have somebody that gets on your last nerves on a regular basis. Come on, just put up both hands for me. If you are, come on in the comments, if you know somebody that tends to get on your nerves a lot, I want to give you a simple way that you can keep someone from getting on your nerves, right? We all have those folks who get on our nerves, right? So now the reason why certain people get on our nerves is because they know what buttons to push. They know that if they do X, you're going to do Y. So one of the things that what we have to learn how to do, y'all, is we got to learn. Watch this, family. This is powerful and this is important. They know what buttons to push to get XYZ result out of you. So what we have to learn how to do is we have to learn how to remove our sensitivity from what they do. And I have a really cool example to help you with this. How many of y'all have ever been to an elevator and you push the up button, but it doesn't light up? You're like, okay, what's going on? You hit the up button, it doesn't light up. You're like, what? Hit the up button again, it doesn't light up. You're like, are you kidding me? How many times are you going to hit that up button and it doesn't light up before you go to a different elevator bank? Probably about 2 or 3 times. If you keep hitting that button and that up arrow does not light up, you're like, okay, this button is broken or this elevator is broken. Either way, I'm not riding on this one. And you go to another elevator bank. Listen to me, my friend. This is so powerful. Come on, fire off in the comments, family. If people know how to push your buttons, it's actually your fault. Woo! Come on, y'all, fire off in the comments. Let me know you're in the building. On this Motivational Monday, I'm going to give you a small shift that's going to make a big difference for you emotionally. I'm going to say it again. If people know how to push your buttons, my friend, it's actually your fault because you've taught them that if they do X, you will do Y and Z. So what we have to do is we have to change how we respond when people try to push our buttons. And instead of allowing people to get away with pushing our buttons, what we have to learn how to do, family, is we got to learn how to control our response. You see, responsibility is our ability to control our response. I'm going to say that again. Put that in the comments for me. Responsibility is our ability to control our response. And so the more, watch this, family, the more we can teach folks how to treat us by making sure that we don't respond to people in a certain way. It only takes a certain number of times for that person to try to push that same button with you and it no longer work, for that person to realize, dang, I can't get away with treating her any kind of way. I can't get away with treating him any kind of way. I can't get away with what I got away with before. It's just not going to work anymore. Y'all, some of y'all, I know it's Juneteenth and I know most people have off. But I want you to try this the next time you go to work. Or I want you to try this the next time that there's somebody in your family or your friend group or your circle that's trying to annoy you. Instead of allowing their normal reaction to cause you to have their normal action to cause you to have your normal reaction, I want you to react opposite of the way you normally do. And when you react opposite of the way that you normally do, they're going to be blown away. They're going to be like, what the heck? I'm not used to her reacting like this. I'm not used to him responding like this. And they're going to try to get away with it 2 or 3 times. And after 2 or 3 times, they're going to be like, I ain't got time for you. And they'll go mess with someone else. What's my point, my friend? What's my point? The point is, let's stop allowing people to push us around emotionally by getting us to react the way they want us to. And let's shift the small things that make the big difference by slightly changing our response to them. And by changing our response to them, they're going to learn to mess with somebody else. Come on, somebody. And they're not going to have time because they're like, I'm not getting the same response from her that I used to. I'm not getting the same reaction to him that I used to. Come on, somebody. If this is good, fire off in the comments and say, Dr. D, this is good. Come on, fire off in the comments, y'all. If this is good, say, Dr. D, this is good. I just need you to fire off in the comments and let me know that it's resonating because, y'all, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I want you to shift the small things that's really going to make the big difference. And I think the more we can do that, y'all, the more we can take it to that next level. So listen, I want to go to a different category. I want to talk about business. What's a small shift that you can make in your business that's going to make a big difference? I want you to share this broadcast, y'all. Do me a favor, share this out to as many people as possible and tell them Dr. D is live right now. Dr. D is live right now because what I'm going to do, y'all, is in a few minutes, I'm going to open it up for some questions and I want you to flood the comments with some questions so I can coach you in real time on YouTube, family, about this subject, Motivational Monday, Chapter 1 of Shift into a Higher Gear, baby. I'm going to be here every Monday at 12 noon Eastern to drop fire on you. We're going to do a global book study. We're going to grow this thing. We're going to build this thing. And I want you to invite folks to this because it's going to be absolutely powerful and transformational for you. So listen, let's talk business for a second. What's one small shift you can make in your business that's going to make a big difference? So for example, what if you said, okay, I've been in business for 20 years. I've been in the industry speaking full time for 20 years. And I've run a successful business for 20 years, a lucrative business for 20 years. God has been absolutely incredible. And I'm still learning and growing, scaling and taking things to the next level, right? But let me ask you a simple question. What if you said, okay, what one small shift, like, so for example, during the pandemic, we made a small shift that made a big difference. And I'm gonna tell you what that small shift was. During the pandemic, when a lot of my colleagues were freaking out because live events had gone away, you couldn't fly anywhere, you couldn't take a plane, train, or automobile anywhere. People weren't going to live events. We were quarantined. So I made a small shift that made a big difference. I shifted all of my live trainings to virtual trainings on Zoom. And listen, everybody that registered for my programs, I mailed them a priority mail package of the same stuff they would get if they came to a hotel to see me, or a conference room to see me, or a conference or convention center to see me live. They got the same books, they got the same workbooks, they got the same manuals, they got the same clappers, they got all the same stuff, as if they got pins, they got lanyards. We gave them everything that they were going to get as if they were live in person. And we said, okay, I want you to set up your home office. I want you to have a flip chart. I want you to have markers. We gave them all the stuff that they would need to replicate what I was doing in my home office, in their home office. And when I tell you, all of our live trainings that we normally did live in person were gangster successful virtually. All we did was shift from live to virtual. And a lot of my colleagues said this. They said, oh man, people don't have the same attention span virtually as they do live. That was a lie. See, don't believe people who haven't done it. That's a shift you can make right there. Stop listening to people who haven't done it. I'm gonna wait for you. Come on, fire off in the comments, y'all, if this is resonating. Stop listening to people who have not done it. One small shift that's gonna make a positive, massive difference in your income and in your positivity and in your relationships is stop listening to people who haven't done it. If you have not built a 7-figure business, why am I listening to you? If you haven't built an 8-figure business, why am I listening to you? If you haven't gotten on national television and that's what I want to do, why am I listening to you? Does that make sense? If you don't have, if you're not a good parent, why am I listening to you? If you're in a relationship, stop listening to single people who have jaded, negative perspectives on relationships. Why am I listening to you? If you haven't produced the result that I want, then why am I listening to you? So make that small shift right now. Stop listening to folks who haven't done what you're trying to do. Does that make sense? Because the truth is, you don't have to bite a donut to know that it's sweet. I'll wait for you. I'm waiting for you. I'm gonna wait for you. You don't have to bite a donut to know that it's sweet. You can look at it. You can look at it and tell. What's my point, family? There's small shifts that we can make that's gonna make a big difference. So I want you to begin to start to inventory your life and your business right now. And I want you to really sit with this question. What are some small things I can do that's going to make a big difference? One thing I did on Instagram that made a big difference is I started doing 1-minute inspirational videos on Instagram. And I called them the Delatorro Dash. And I said, I'm going to take 60 seconds to impact someone's life. And literally in 60 seconds, I would do a 60-second reel teaching something powerful and transformational. And I did like over 150 of them and put them on Instagram. And that was my unique thing that I did just for Instagram, right? Well, why did I do that? Because I wanted to create something that was a little bit different, a little bit unique, that allowed me to kind of stand out from everybody else who was just out there being motivational. So that was a small shift that I could make that made a big difference. Another shift that I made is I started remixing other people's content. If I saw someone that did a great live or did a great reel, I would remix their stuff and just put my facial gymnastics on their stuff and shared it with my audience. And boom, I've gotten more views of remixing other people's stuff than of my own content. Small shifts that can make a big difference. What about you? What's some small things that you can do today that's going to make a big difference? Maybe you talk less to people who aren't adding value to you. Maybe you shorten certain conversations that aren't adding value to you. What if you say, okay, hey, I have a friend of mine or a family member who's negative, and I can't disassociate from that family member, but I can limit the amount of information I share with them. What small shifts can you make that's going to make a big difference? And the reason why this is so vitally important, y'all, and we get ready to go to Q&A time, is I want you to think about something. On a motorcycle, the reason why you shift is to go faster with less effort. I will say it again. The whole reason why you shift on a motorcycle is to go faster with less effort. Here's what I mean by that. You can't go 60 miles an hour on a motorcycle in first gear, because first gear is not designed to go that fast. Why? Because the RPMs, the rotations per minute. See, when you shift gears, what you're doing is you're actually shifting. When you shift gears on a motorcycle, you're decreasing the RPMs, but you're shifting to a higher gear. So the wheel is turning faster. You're going faster, but the engine is working less hard to go faster. It's counterintuitive. I'm going to say it again. The engine is working less hard for you to go faster. Why? Because you shifted into a higher gear that could handle the speed you want to go to. So if you want to go to six figures in your business, you got to shift into a higher gear that's going to support that. Does that make sense, family? But in order to shift into that higher gear, you got to be willing to leave the gear you were in. Here's my question. Are you willing to let go of what doesn't work? Are you willing to let go of what doesn't serve you? Come on, somebody. Are you willing to let go of people that don't serve you? Circumstances that don't serve you? Are you willing to let go of the things that don't add value to your life, your business, your brand, your mentality, your mindset, your heart set, your skill set, your will set? Are you willing to let go of the things that are no longer adding value to you? So that way you can grab a hold of the things that are adding value to you. Shift the small things that make the big difference. I'm going to open it up for 2 or 3 questions. If you have a question, I want you to drop it in the comments right now. If you have a question, I want you to drop it in the comments right now, because my goal here on this Motivational Monday is to challenge you each Monday to make a small shift that's going to make a big difference. For the next 12 weeks, we're going to be going chapter by chapter in this incredible book, and we're in chapter 1. If you don't have the book, go to Audible. It's me reading the book. If you don't, go to Amazon, grab the book on Amazon. If you have the book and you haven't left us an Amazon review, please leave us an Amazon review. If you have the book but you don't have the workbook, what are you waiting on? Go to shiftintoahighergear.com and grab the workbook. The workbook is something that my company produced. It's a 180-page workbook, activity guide, journal, and exercise guide all in one that really takes a lot of the experiences from the book and goes deeper with them. So you can get the workbook from shiftintoahighergear.com. You can grab the book from Amazon, Audible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's me reading it to you on Audible, so you'll love that. But I want to give you guys a moment or two to ask me a question about small shifts that can make a big difference, because that's what this week's subject matter is all about. And my friend, I want to encourage you and I want to challenge you to live life to the fullest, because y'all, we only get this one opportunity. This is not a dress rehearsal. We have the responsibility each and every day to live life to the fullest. Last week, I was speaking at a huge conference, and one of the things that I said on stage was something that really went over powerfully for people. And I said this: you can live 100 years, or you can live 1 year 100 times. I'm going to say that again. You can live 100 years, or you can live 1 year 100 times. A lot of people do that. Instead of living 100 incredible years, they live 1 year 100 times. Well, how do they live 1 year 100 times? They live 1 year 100 times because they're stuck in the same pathology, the same psychology, the same methodology, the same mindset, the same skill set. They don't grow, they don't evolve. How many of y'all know folks who are stuck in life and business? Come on, just fire off in the comments if you know people who are stuck in life and business, stuck in income, right? And that's because they're rehearsing the same thing over and over again. They're going around the same mountain over and over again. They're not growing, they're not evolving. And see, anybody who gets close to me knows that I am constantly learning and growing. I'm constantly learning and growing. My brother, who's been my brother my entire life, he says this to me all the time. He said, "Bro, you do more in 3 months than most people do in an entire year." Because my life moves at an accelerated rate. That's just the only way I know how to function. Does that make sense? Because I really believe that we're here to live life to the fullest. We're here to top ourselves on a regular basis and live life to the fullest. So, my friend, get out of whatever stuck place you're in and let's shift into a higher gear and let's do it together, y'all. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. Listen, we got so many great things going on. It's not even funny. I'm not sure if you've heard, but we have our 3-day live speaker training coming up. It's called Crush the Stage. Go to www.crushthestage.com. That's www.crushthestage.com. If you'd like to learn what I've mastered over 20 years. You're going to learn how I've mastered the platform. You're going to learn 20 years worth of platform mastery in 3 days. We're collapsing decades into days at Crush the Stage. Come on, somebody. We're collapsing decades into days at Crush the Stage. Come on, Ebony and Gina. That's a t-shirt right there. Collapsing decades into days at Crush the Stage. So y'all go to crushthestage.com. We only have a few spots left for our August class. Make sure you get registered ASAP. It's going to be absolutely gangbuster to help take your life to the next level, help take your goals and dreams to the next level, help you get paid top dollar to share your message, share your story, share your insights with the planet. How many of y'all who are watching me right now know that you have a message, you have a story, you have something that you want to share with the world, you have insights that you want to share with the world, you have concepts and principles that you want to share with corporations, associations, conventions, colleges, pro sports teams, and mega churches? If you're watching me, you know that you want to share your message and your story with the planet in a bigger, better, badder way. If you want to get on media and get on television and get interviewed, these are things I can teach you how to do at Crush the Stage. So check out the website, crushthestage.com. It's absolutely incredible. And y'all, I'm not sure if you've heard, but we have our 20-year anniversary coming up. That's right. We have our 20-year anniversary coming up. I'm still waiting for some questions, y'all. So I'm waiting for your questions in the comments. But y'all, we have our 20-year anniversary coming up on July 18th in Orlando, Florida. So I want you to do us a favor and go to our Instagram page and check out the link in our bio, and you'll be able to get all the information about our 20-year anniversary. It's a live in-person celebration where we're going to be, it's going to be a roast. It's going to be fun. It's going to be dancing, music, entertainment, some incredible speakers, surprise guests. It's going to be an incredible experience, and I can't wait for it. And it's coming up on July 18th, so come hang out with us for that. There's a lot of cool things coming up. We got our Shift Summit coming up, so we got a lot of cool in-person opportunities where you can get a chance to hang out with me live in person. I love the stuff that we do online, but I also love the stuff that we do in person. So listen, I'm so incredibly excited about working with you, sweet tea. Make sure you go to crushthestage.com and get registered right now for that opportunity to take your life to that next level. Well, guess what, y'all? My time is up. It looks like we don't have any questions right now in the comments. So listen, do me a favor this week. Here's what I want your focus to be this week. I want your focus this week to be this. I want you to start looking around your life. I'm going to give you some homework. Is this okay? I want you to start looking around your life. And I want you to start saying, what are some small things I can do? Some small shifts that I can make that will make a big difference in my parenting, in my romantic relationships. Maybe a small text message, a small touch, a small romantic gesture, right? What's something small you can do for your team that's going to make a big difference? What's something small that you can do with your money this week that will make a big difference? What's something small that you can do for your neighbor that would make a big difference? Just the other day, one of my neighbors posted on Facebook that she had just had surgery. And so 2 days after she posted, I know the day she posted, a lot of people commented, "Oh, I hope you get better," whatever. I waited for like 2 or 3 days afterwards, and then I sent her a text and said, "Hey, just wanted to touch base and see how your healing journey is coming along and let you know that I'm praying for you." And she said, "Oh my God, thank you so much." She said, "The first 2 days I was doing great, but then on the third day I had a setback in my recovery, and I really needed this text message. Thank you so much for that." Small shift made a big difference. I decided not to comment when everybody else was commenting. I decided to comment after the fanfare was done. This is a fun thing I love to do too, y'all. This is funny. I'll just share this with you. You know, when people post their Cash Apps on their birthdays, most times I never give to someone's Cash App the day that everybody else is doing it. Why? Because it gets lost in the minutia of everybody else doing it. I will either post, if I'm going to Cash App somebody, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do it the day before their birthday or the day after their birthday. Because by then, if it's the day before, their Cash App hasn't been blown up yet. So they'll see it and they'll treasure it. If it's the day afterwards, they've already counted their money. They said, "Oh man, I made XYZ dollars on my birthday from Cash App." And so if they get a little extra something from me the day after, they're like, "What? This is bonus." Small things that make a big difference. My friend, I want you to think right now today of some things that you can do, some small things that you can do that will make a big difference in your life, in your career, in your parenting, in your relationships, in your money, right? In your relationship with God. Does that make sense? In your relationship with your dadgum self. What are some small shifts that you can make that will make a big difference? One of the questions that's come up is, what is a small shift that an introvert can make? That's a great question. Let's talk about it. What's a small shift that an introvert can make to start? Now watch this, y'all. Watch this. Oh Lord. I need everybody in the comments to say, just say it like you want to say it. Just put that in the comments. Say it like you want to say it. Just say it like you want to say it. So I am certified in several different personalities, styles, and human behavior modalities, one of which is DISC. Okay. And one of the things that I've learned is I think y'all sometimes we're so y'all we're so consumed with labeling ourselves that I think we allow ourselves to be labeled prematurely, and we allow that premature labeling to put us in a box. So, for example, we think that introverted people aren't really the best people. Well, guess what? I'm an introvert. My career is extroverted, but I'm more of an introvert. What I mean by that is when I'm on planes, I don't talk to people. I don't strike up conversations in elevators. I don't strike up conversations at bars. Most time, if I go to a restaurant, someone's got to say something to me. I'm not the one that normally strikes up conversation. I'm more of an introvert. When I get on a plane, I sit on my window seat and I don't really say much to people. Someone sits right next to me, I'll say, "Hey, how are you?" That's about it. But I'll hear people in front of me and people behind me on planes have flight long conversations. And I'm like, that's a gift, that's a talent, that's an anointing that I don't have. I value my words. I treasure my words. So when I use my words, I use them intentionally and I use them when it's time to get paid. Coaching, podcasting, interviews, keynote speaking. Come on, somebody, writing books, right? I know when to use the gift. And when I'm done using the gift, I put the gift on the shelf and I go back to doing life. What am I trying to say to you? Don't allow a term introvert or extrovert to label you. Just because you're extra, because just because people have called you an extrovert doesn't mean that you have to be the life of the party everywhere. Just because people have labeled you as an introvert doesn't mean that you have to be quiet everywhere you go, right? And some people are actual ambiverts. They're a little bit of both. They're introverted and extroverted. So embrace the possibility. The law of duality, the law of polarity, right, says that two opposing things can coexist simultaneously. So you can be an introvert and an extrovert at certain times in certain situations with certain groups of people, and both are so allowed. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. All right, y'all. This is Motivational Monday. Are y'all having a good time? I hope that y'all share this, man. I want y'all to share this with as many folks as possible because I really, really believe it's going to add value. John Harris asked a question. He's like, what are some doable ways to speak for free locally? Speaking for all the civic organizations, John. That's a great way to speak locally. Speaking for the civic groups, your chambers, your Rotaries, your Kiwanis clubs, your business networking international groups, right? Your meetup groups, your Facebook groups, a lot of these local groups that are like that. I call it the civic circuit, right? Your chambers of commerce, your networking groups, your business journal organizations. A lot of those groups don't pay speakers, but it's a great way to start getting your name out locally. Toastmasters International, things of that nature. Those are all great ways to start getting your name out locally for free, just to kind of get visibility, get people getting to know who you are, putting some name, face recognition out there. I did that when I first got started speaking. I spoke for everybody who would listen. And I spoke for free till I got so good at speaking and I started solving a problem with my speaking that people started paying me for my speaking. Does that make sense? So we go into extensive detail about this, John, at Crush the Stage. So you need to register for that, brother. It's going to be a total game changer for you. I think there was one more question I saw here. Okay, I think that's it, y'all. Well, listen, I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you had a great time. Listen, go to our Instagram page. All of the links to the various programs that we talked about were there. If you're not following us on Instagram, it's just at Dr. Delatorro on Instagram. Follow us there. I hope you got great value out of this session, and I hope it takes you to the next level. Know that this is Dr. Delatorro, believing in nothing but your success. Can't wait to see you and meet you. Same bat time, same bat channel next Monday, 12 noon for Chapter 2 of Shifting to a Higher Gear. Better your best and live life to the fullest. Grab the book on Amazon or Audible. Grab the workbook at shiftingtoahighergear.com. It will change your life. It'll change your business. It'll change your income. It'll change your future. God bless you guys. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.